الشخصية بين شكل الضمير, the way it looks. منفصل means disconnected. So whenever a pronoun is coming disconnected, it looks like these. متصل is connected. These are the cases in which it comes connected. So متكلم is the first person, مخاطب second person, غائب third person, first, second and third person. مذكر and مؤنث, masculine and feminine. You see in the next column, masculine and feminine, مذكر مؤنث. For some of you, when you look at that, you see مذكر or مذكر, you don't know. So you might want to put the i'rab on there just so you know what you're looking at. مذكر.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okie doke. The next row, mufrad, singular. العدد. Mufrad, singular. Muthanna, dual. Jam', plural. This is whenever it's going to come separate. Don't worry about this raf and nasib up here.
What is Jama?
Plural. Yeah. So the muttasil, a pronoun will be connected in three different ways, as you see here. Muttasil, when a pronoun is connected to a word, either a verb or a noun.
Last column.
Yeah. So the first column is when it's it's connected to a verb. Rafa, this means it's the doer of the verb, the one who did the verb, and it will come connected to the verb to the left. So if you said kataba, he did. If you look on the third person for masculine singular, he, you see this in parentheses, it says mustatir huwa, meaning it's understood. Kataba. There is no, if I said kataba al-kitab, he wrote the book, right? He is understood. This is the basic root form. Kataba, fa'ala, shariba, jalasa, ra'a, qala, qama. This is the basic root. Third person masculine singular has no additives to it. There is no additive to that root word. So that's how you look up in the dictionary. You want to look for the past tense, singular, masculine, third person.
In the past.
Past tense, that's what he said. Okay? So that's the first column. The second column is whenever it is attached to a verb as well, and it is going to be the object of the verb. Huh? Katabani?
Yes.
Katabani? How are you? Sound like you're saying katabni.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Katabani.
Katabani means he wrote me. Makes no sense whatsoever. Katabani.
You become the object.
If you want to say I wrote, you say katabtu. It's the first column. First column.
So how do we use the second one?
Well, what do you want to say?
As object.
He's
Tell
trying
me what
to
you
ask,
want to
like, how do you use that then?
Huh?
What he's trying to ask is how do you use it? So me
Oh,
is me.
for example,
Yeah.
darabani. He hit me. Darabani. He hit me.
You are the object.
Yeah.
Somebody hits you.
Ra'ani. Ra'ani. He saw me. Nasarani, as the brother said last week. He supported me. Sa'adani. He helped me. You see? Or you could say, Sa'adtani. You helped me. Ta. You. Sa'adta, this is the first column. Ni. Me. So you helped me. So you have now 3 words here. Sa'ada, which is the verb meaning help, right? Then ta, which is a attached pronoun, a connected attached pronoun, which means you. So you helped. Ni, me. So you have verb, doer, object of the verb. Fi'l, fa'il, maf'ul bi. Don't worry about these. Verb, doer, and object of the verb. Yeah? Okie doke. Is that clear? The third column is when it's attached to a noun. When the pronoun is attached to a noun, it will be possessive. Possessive, always. Possessive. This is the third column. We didn't get to that last time. This will be, so for example, Kitabi, my book. Kitabuna, our book. Kitabak, or Kitabuk, your book. Your book. Kitabuki, your book. Kitabukuma, your 2 book. Kitabukum, all your book, right?
So it can be only attached to a noun or a verb as well?
Both.
Both.
But this third column
Yes.
is only when it's attached to a noun, and that means possession. Yeah. If there is an exception, which it's very rare in Arabic, I will definitely throw that out there for you. I will let you know.
Say again what you just said.
Okay. We need to make sure that this line is somehow indicated and explained that this row of connected pronouns, connected personal pronouns, is a connected pronoun to a noun.
Noun.
Right? And it is indicating possession. Who is possessing it? For example, we say, Ardahu, his land. For example, we say, Masjiduka, your mosque. Right?
Umri, my age.
Umruka, your age.
Your age.
Umri, my age. Right? Umruna, our age. Which won't make sense. You would have to say A'maruna. All the different ages of us. Unless we all happen to be one age, which would be very okay. So, is it clear? Is that clear? Okay. So now, because I don't want to, I want to make sure this is clear, I'm going to give you some opportunities to challenge yourself. So, we'll say, we'll use the book, or we'll say book, kitab. This is going to be our noun. So if we wanted to do the last row, we can use that, okay? This is our noun. So for verb, we're going to say ja'ala. Anybody know what ja'ala means? He made. Made. Not from the standpoint of produced. You can say it like that, mean like created. You can. But generally ja'ala means to make something happen. Right? You just said, he made me do it. Ja'alani af'al. Right? He
So
made me
it's
do
like
it.
force.
Yeah, that's the made meaning force. Right? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In the future, if we can, try to be on time. If it's at all within your possibility. Inshallah. Start at 2 sharp. Okay, so we're just going to start right here with Uncle, I forgot your name, brother, please forgive me.
Abbas.
Abbas, beautiful. Abbas, say their book, meaning plural masculine.
Kitabuka.
No, that's your book.
Okay. Kitabukum.
That's your all book. Their book.
Yeah.
Ka, this kaf is indicating you're talking to the second person. Ha is always indicating third person.
Kitab antum.
We're doing hum.
Antum.
Their book. Their book. Not antum. Hum. Kitabuhum.
Kitabuhum.
Okay.
Kitabuhum.
Yeah. Kitabuhum, their book. Plural. Yes.
Kitabuhi is his book. Kitabuhu, his book.
His book, very good. Yes.
How do we know if we have to use the attached one or the non-attached one? Like kitabuhum or hum kitab? Like how do we know if it's the mufassil or the mutassil?
So on this particular, if you look in the third person, this is the only one that's pretty much the same out of all of them. The separate and the connected and the disconnected are the same. Home and home.
Same for that last one.
Yeah. No, if I said home fil bayt, they're in the house. This is separate, obviously. It just happens to be that you found the only one in the whole list where the connected and the disconnected is the same exact thing.
Oh, otherwise it's not.
Look at them. You have your list.
No.
You'll not find that happen again.
No, but I'm just saying, like, is it the same thing as saying kitabuhum or hum kitaba? Or-
You just now made up a new language.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stick with this one.
No, but
And that's very easy to do when you've been trained in a language or you speak English every day, so you're thinking English, right? Their book, Kitab, right? You're forcing English onto Arabic.
okay, so
Completely different languages. Arabic is Semitic. It's a sister of Hebrew and Aramaic and Akkadian. These languages came from Southeast Asia, North Africa, East Africa, this area. English is a Germanic Latin language, which is a mixture of Norse stuff. So these are completely different languages. Yeah. So we have to force ourselves to think and function based upon the structure given. It's very easy to do. I did it from my first year of learning Arabic, over and over and over. And my sheikh kept doing this. Yahya, we're studying Arabic. Allah yarhamhu. Yeah, this is the point. We have to focus on the system at hand. Okay.
So
Yes, brother.
let me repeat it and probably it'll help.
Yeah, yeah.
So the first row in here,
Uh-huh.
first person, second person, and third person.
Yeah, yeah.
All of these, the letters that
Mhm.
in column 2 and then 1, 2, 3. So it adds end of the noun, right? The kitab,
Yeah. This line that he's written,
Right.
the line that's written before each one of them, it means the word.
Right.
It's connected to the word. That is representing the word itself. So just put on the back, since we're on this one, we're doing the third row here. So we wanted to say their book. So we have third person, plural, masculine right here. So this is hum, right? So kitabuhum. So this line right here, it means the word kitab is connected to hum.
Right.
That's what that line means, on all of them.
All of what I wanted to say. All
This
of
word right here, it means, you have to write these things.
Right.
Muttasal means connected. Connected. The only one that's separate, paying close attention, is this one with an alif next to it. Munfasil, disconnected.
Disconnected.
Yeah. So these are what they look like disconnected. Don't even pay attention to this row. Just connects it out for now if you want. You will never use it. Okay. So this connected row right here, or this connected one right here, that is what it looks like if you just wanted to say I, me, you, she, and all that as a subject or something like that in a sentence, right?
Okay,
You know-
so it's always that first person piece that always is that is the disconnected form.
Hmm.
Is that always?
Yeah, well, let's make sure we understand everything here. Pay close attention, everyone. This is first person. First person has, like any other language or verb, it has disconnected personal pronouns. Then you have connected personal pronouns. This is when it's connected to a verb right here, and it is meaning indicating the doer of the verb. We need to write notes. If you didn't write notes, you have no idea what you're doing. You would never have any idea what you're doing. So that is the first person, how they look connected for these disconnected. This is how they look, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to say I wrote, because this is past tense, past tense verbs right here. This is in the past tense verbs, right? Although this one could be present or past tense in the middle. This one can be past or present tense attached, object of the verb, right? This means nasb, it means object of the verb. It could be attached to a past, it could be yansuruni. When you have a ya, ta, alif, noon at the beginning of a verb, this is saying this present tense, right? Whereas the past tense always, without exception, begins with the first letter of the root because the past tense is where the root is, right? Okay, so yansuruni, he is supporting me. So this is the object as we have right here. So it can be past or present. Nasarani or yansuruni, it makes no difference past or present. See my point? So this one needs to have a note. It could be attached to a past or a present verb. But this one is only for a past tense verb, right? Okay, so the third one is for a possessive pronoun attached to a noun. That's the third row right here. So first, second, and third person has all of these options, right? And then you have masculine or feminine for all these options. You have singular, dual, or jamma, or plural for all of these options. Is that clear now?
Go ahead. I want to repeat it.
Yeah.
The second one can be past or present.
Yep, right here.
And the first one is
Only past.
Only past.
Yep.
But the disconnected is always present. Is that, always the first person present. I am. Is that what you said before? I don't understand when you would use the disconnected. I understand I understand the connected. I don't understand the disconnected.
Disconnected, yes. This is disconnected, the
Right.
first one.
Uh-huh.
If I wanted to say, I am Yahya, Ana Yahya, Anta Paul, this is a subject of the sentence. It's just it's just the pronoun as you use it as a subject of a sentence, right?
Okay.
So, me, I, you, we, she, something or something after that, right?
Okay.
Is this or is that or whatever. So
So-
that's how that's going to come.
Pronoun as subject.
Right, as subject. Pretty
Okay.
much. That's
Okay.
the overwhelming, right? Pretty much. To my knowledge as of now, there's no exception. But if it does pop up, I'll let you know and you can go back and adjust your thing here. But I'm pretty sure that's the only case when it's going to come. Okie doke? Everybody clear? Okay. Brother, I'm drawing a blank on your name.
Rahim.
Rahil. Rahil and Rafi'. I always want to mix you guys. You were the team with the Sheikh in Ramadan, right? Yeah, mashallah. So, Brother Rahil, I want you to say your book for a female.
Anti.
Now you're doing, so
Disconnected.
we have book,
Kitab.
kitab. This is to exercise this last row, which is what? Always connected. We're exercising this last row right here. That's what we're doing right now.
Kitabiki.
Kitabuki.
Kitabuki.
Yeah. The default setting for IT language is Dhamma. Kitabuki. Fatha or Kasr will come because some influential factor in the sentence is changing the grammatical casing. Right? So Kitabuki, your book. Rafi'. Say their book for two people.
هم كتابهم
For two.
هم كتاب
Kitabuhuma.
Kitabuhuma.
You're thinking in English, right? You gotta get used to the Arabic. The noun is gonna come first. Their book is gonna have book first, always.
كتابهما
Kitabuhuma. Notice this. I'm just gonna show you something right now that should click after you. It's not commonly used in conversational Arabic. No Arab is using dual, right? They're totally throwing this in the trash. Because we don't need it anymore. The whole Quran, the story of Adam and Eve, comes up dual. It's Adam and Eve, two people. Harun and Musa, Moses and Aaron, constantly dual, right? The Jannatain, the two people. David and his story in Surah Al-Naml, so forth. David and Solomon, right? Okay, so there is an alif that's going to come, pretty much. So for example, kuma and huma and kataba and katabata. Oops. Right? So, as far as the pronouns and the past tense, alif is going to come up on dual a lot. Now, in present tense and in singular nouns, any, it's always going to come up. Like if you want to say two books, you don't say ithnain kitab. That's what you're going to want to do. But that's not Arabic at all. Right? Kitabani. Kitabani means two books. Right? If you want to say two people are writing, yaktubani. Right? Right? Yaktubani. You see? Two people are writing. That's they, those two people. You two are writing taktubani. Right? Rajulani. It's in the Quran. Two men. Right? So, in the pronouns, it's going to have an alif attached to what is the plural one. Kum becomes kuma. Hum becomes huma. You see? Right. Okay. So that's just a visual recognition thing, and it will come with practice, inshallah, naturally. Sheikh Nasruddin, our book. Kitabuna, our book, right? Sharuch, their book, all females.
Females also become so kitabahuma.
No, it's dual.
So what?
It's dual. Huma is dual, as we just now went
Oh, you
through.
said okay, not you.
For all
Kitabahum.
females.
Kitabahum.
That's
oh,
all.
Kitabahunna.
Kitabuhunna, yes. This is their book, all female, right? 3 or more females. Okay, brother, I'm sorry. Mu'inuddin. How many times have I learned something? Astaghfirullah al-Azim. My book.
My book. First person.
Mm-hmm.
Kitabu.
Hmm?
Kitabani.
No.
Kitabiyah.
Kitabi.
Kitabi.
My book. Yeah. So this is one in the third row. The second row is a matter of being attached to a verb, right? So let's see, right now you're focusing on differentiating between the two. So that's why we're just sticking with this. Once we master this, then we can do a different way, inshallah. So kitabi, baiti, my house, right? Fasli, my classroom, masjidi, my mosque, imra'ati, my woman. This is how they talk, right? This is how they say, my woman. It could be derogatory. It also could be very much a deep attachment if you said that, right? From a cultural standpoint. If he could say
Imra
that.
is woman.
Huh?
Umra.
Imra'a.
Imra.
Yeah. Imra'a. Okay. So, you see that. So, your book for singular masculine, Paul. Are you in this, brother? Yeah, go ahead. You're trying to hide. Mustafa, your book, singular masculine.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, you got to, man. You waste time.
Your book. First person.
Is it the Kitaba?
Kitabuka.
Kitabuka, your book for masculine.
Which
Kitabuki.
is the second one, first line, right?
Yep, Kitabuka.
Okay.
So second person, if you follow the rows here,
Second person.
Yes.
see the way you would break it down, instead of just kind of into outer space because of all this stuff, right? It's a structure. So whenever I tell you what to say, you think, is that first, second, and third person? Knock one of these down. Is that masculine or feminine? Is it singular? And now you move over once you found it, right? A lot of you thought we were done doing graphs and studying and all this a long time ago. We're not adults. No, alhamdulillah, till the day of judgment we're going to learn. Brother, I forgot your name. Please forgive me. Huh? Ridwan? Ridwan. Your book for dual. Yes, perfect. Zakiya, his book. Very good. Sister, her book. Oh. Now we're guessing. Follow the structure. No guessing. Just look. Her book. So that would be
Third person.
third person.
Feminine.
Feminine.
Am I looking at the right box here?
Yep. Feminine. Third person. Feminine. Singular. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Huh?
Yes.
Okay, I have my box.
Kitabuha. Her book. Right? Mezna. Your book for masculine plural. Your book, masculine plural.
Kitabukum.
Kitabukum. Your book, masculine plural. Sophia, their book, masculine plural.
Kitabuhum.
Kitabuhum, their book, right? So what we're doing is we're familiarizing you with things that's going to help you to understand what is what. You might see a word that says, for example, nasartani. It's 3 words. There's 3 words there. Nasartani. 3 words. Now without this exercise, you're going to see it as 1 word and have a hard time looking it up. See? This is very, very, very crucial, valuable information to reading the Quran and listening to the Quran and knowing what is being said. This is key. Because why? This is peculiar to Arabic. Something only in Arabic. You would never figure it out unless you had this class. Right? Oh, yes, sister.
When you write this, the way this is written,
Mm-hmm.
this shows it's disconnected from the hum.
No, it's connected. The line is meaning the word is connected
I
to
know,
it.
but the difference between the way it's written as opposed to like the, what is this, third person,
Mhm.
masculine, singular, you see how it goes, the ha is at the end. But do you just connect this to the ba?
Well, first of all, a hat, when it's disconnected, looks like this.
Right. But why did they do that? That's
Because it says right here at the top, it says right here, disconnected right here. This says muttasil, which means all these are disconnected. So connected, please forgive me. So muttasil means connected. So all of these are connected by virtue of the structural. Yeah, alhamdulillah, Sheikh did not leave nothing out from this thing. If you just look at it, it will be very easy. But it requires review and research and looking at it. Yeah.
But
Mastering
the way he wrote the letter is not the form that you would get had in the middle of a connection. You see
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
is.
saying?
Any
You
one of
wrote
these,
out-
there would just be a line going on the right side of it.
Yeah,
That's all.
but the had does not look like that in the middle of it.
Where's that? Which one?
Home. That the way he wrote the home there.
Yeah, it would just look like this. Oh yeah, you're right. I see what your point is, like this. Although you might find in the Quran something that look like. You might find that in the Quran, to be honest with you. And both of them are fine. Or you could even do it like this. These are 3 different ways of writing that.
Allahumma.
Yeah.
So la'allakum is like
لعلكم, perhaps you all. Mm-hmm.
la'allakum
So, yeah, this is a different.
la'allakum
Yeah,
taqilun.
yeah.
It's like
Perhaps you all. Or so that maybe you all.
yeah.
Or
la'allakum was like,
hopefully
so
you
that-
all will this and that, right? La'alla is a complicated situation. We'll get into that some other point.
So the kum and kum is about the second person, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
And hum is third.
Yeah. Kaf is denoting second person, connected, and ha is denoting third person. Very easy thing. Just like when you get into present tense, when you see generally a yat before present tense, it means third person. When you see a ta, except for one exception, it means second person. At the beginning of a present tense. And those will come. We have charts for everything. We're taking it one at a time, one step at a time. Okie doke. Now let's go through. You go ahead.
Just looking at the chart,
Yeah.
I mean, there kind of seems to be a pattern.
Oh yeah.
So when you look at like the second person, you see you see the meme at the end, but then
Yeah.
it's at the same place for the third person too.
Mhm.
So it looks like when you're talking about the algebra, they're just switching things based on the context of
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arabic is very super structured, man. I mean, there is no language like this. So okay. So now let's take a different word. Okay. So we're going to use the word bait, house, or home, or home. You could say bait. Okay, her house. Hold on, let me. Trying to remember your name. Astaghfirullah al-Azim.
Us.
Abbas. Okay, Abbas.
Batoki.
You're getting confused between you and her. Her.
Batohu.
This is his.
Batohi.
Baytuha.
Batohi.
Baytuha. Baytuha. And you might just go ahead and next time, just for familiarity with this thing, because you're going to need to use it at home. As we said, for anything that you ever learned, you can't just go in and take one class and then master it and make an A on the test. You have to research and review.
Question.
Yes, sister.
Is there any significance to the fact that that line at the end is bold? It's,
It seems he made a graph that only allows a certain amount of some sort, or maybe it's just an error. Because look, it doesn't even go all the way across. Yeah, it's an error. It's just it shouldn't be bold.
okay.
No reason for it to be bold. That's something in his graphing. Something came out bold for some strange reason. Okie doke. Yeah. So what you want to do is, if you're not sure, or even if you are sure, just use it. Just think, okay, third person, her, singular, feminine, and then you'll be able to find its hat. Just go right across. Okay, my house, Rahil.
Baiti.
Perfect. Right on. I particularly gave you to that because you were struggling last time. Now you've got it. See? You learned very quick. Alhamdulillah. Their house for plural masculine, Rafi'a.
Baitahum.
Baytuhum. Yeah. Baytuhum. Okay. Nasruddin. Your house for a female, singular.
Baituki.
Baytuki. His house, Shahrukh.
His house, male, Baitahu.
Baytuhu. Yeah.
Baituhu.
Baytuhu. Perfect. Mu'inuddin. Their house for all feminine.
Third person. Plural.
Feminine. Their house.
All feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Baitahunna.
Baytuhunna.
Baituhunna.
Baytuhunna. The default setting at the end of the noun is dhamma. That's the default. It will never be fatha or kasra without some sort of active affecting grammatical reality, right? Which will come up and we'll study at some other point in time. This is really not that consequential for you guys in what your goal is. That will be consequential for someone who's looking at scholarly understanding of Arabic. That's sadly the focus in many Arabic classes from the beginning, and I've come to see that sarf, morphology of words, is more important for someone from your background because you need to be able to use the dictionary. And without that, you're in outer space with the dictionary. Mustafa, our house in the middle of the street, our house. You gotta take it back, brother.
Yeah,
the 80s
it's
was
old school, yeah.
Yeah. Our house. That's those two house. Their two house. Our house. So it's obviously the first person, plural. Baytuna. Our house. Baytuna. Paul, your house for masculine.
Okay. Beituka.
Baytuka. Perfect. Radwan. Their house for two masculine. Their house. It's two people, two guys. They have a house. Baytuma. Mashallah. Brother memorized the whole thing. Very good. You were here last week, huh?
Yeah.
You did some review.
I worked on the previous.
Huh? You've done this one previously. Oh, mashallah. I thought maybe we had a savant with us. Right? Zakiya. Your house for plural feminine. Baytukunna. Your house. Sister, I didn't catch your name.
Romana.
Romana. Your house for dual.
Bedukum.
For dual.
Two masculine. Dual masculine.
Either way, masculine or feminine is the same.
Bedukum.
That's masculine plural. We want dual. Muthanna. As we said, we were doing these examples. That added alif always gives
Oh,
the.
betukuma.
That's
Sorry,
it.
sorry.
Yeah. And you know what? There's a logical part of the human brain's function that says, you know, if there's more letters, then that should mean plural. You know, kuma is more, so that means more. It's a human deduction that's quite natural. Sister Mezna, my house. Baiti. Sophia, your house, masculine, plural. Your house. Baytukum, your house. So, how many of you raise your hand if you feel 75% comfortable with this? This is good. Is it warmer over here? Maybe the heat is good. Okay. So I think that's good, inshallah ta'ala. So let's go ahead and take a word from the Quran. We'll come back to this, inshallah, because this is training, it's focus, deep. Everything we're going to do here is focus. But inshallah, we have in the Quran, as we said, or in Arabic language. Oh, keep doing it. All words are one of three categories. Okay? You have asma, which you are taught to think means names, which it can mean that. That's asma al-alam, means proper name. Asma can mean many different things. Then you have af'al, word. Then you have huruf. Just so you know, forgot all of your meeting this. Okay, so this is just okay. So, ism in Arabic grammar means a noun. Anything that represents something. And in Arabic, descriptive words are considered something representing something. So in English, adjective and adverb are considered separate realities. Whereas in Arabic, an adverb could be here, generally it is here, as well as an adjective under asma. All those are considered asma. Something that just represents a concept or an idea or a thing, person, place, thing, and everything else, and description of these things and all that. This is the asma, nouns. So that's singular, the singular, plural, singular, plural, singular, plural. Okie doke.
So that was the root when we talked about Bismillah in the first class. The root for Bismillah in the first class, it's the same root, is meaning something.
This just means nouns. We're talking like grammatical way of looking at language.
Right, but you were saying the meaning is that it's representative.
Yeah,
of
that's the
something.
thing. See, the way people look at it is, so here's the thing that I came to. I always, when I was a new Muslim, for the first, I would say 10 years of being a Muslim, I always understood it in the proper name of God. So, but then I started to think when I was studying, well, why doesn't it just say Billah? Right? Because if we're all told to believe Allah is the proper name of God, then why do we have to say in the name of, what does that mean? Right? You're saying His name. So then I came to the conclusion that it's a little bit deeper than that. We're trying to reduce God to worldly things. Like, that's a tree, that's a this. And we're like, okay, that's Allah, right? Like, it's something that you can just quantify as a proper name, and that's what it should be known across all reality throughout the universe. When actually, what it's saying is, in all that represents, because that's what a person, place, thing, description, adverb, all these type things are representative words that refer and describe and give you information about things so that you can remember them, right? So for the Arabs, there are many different ways to remember God. Allah is very simple, the worshipped entity, right? Rahman, the merciful. Quddus, the purely holy. Ghafur, the forgiving. These are not titles like Joe, Bob, and Billy,
They're like
right?
attributes.
These are descriptive words, yeah.
Like with the attributes of Allah.
That's what it means, according to Imam al-Tabari. And Imam al-Tabari, he's the oldest mufassir. He was from 2.5 centuries after the Prophet ﷺ. And he said, when it says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ism does not refer to Allah, it refers to what I said, everything that He's known by. And then Rahman and Rahim are mentioned to give the reader the knowledge that what's most pertinent to you, the reader of this book, is that He is primarily known as Rahman and Rahim. The worshipped entity that you worshipped, Allah, the worshipped entity that shall be worshipped, His primary characteristic relative to you is mercy, compassion, forgiveness, love, and so forth. That's what that's all about. Okay, so that's asma, fi'l, and af'al, verbs, right? So for example, kitab. We've been doing kitab. So we would say kataba or yaktubu. These are two examples. One is, this is past, and this is present. Yaktubu. He wrote, he is writing, right? Book. Right? So, now, don't write this down. I'm just giving you a philosophical angle at it right here. In the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, Muslims started to want to quantify the science of Arabic language. Historically, Arabic was just a natural reality to anybody who was raised in its environment. Right? So, Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma, all of that was... it could not be that somebody could say I'm Arab and then say that wrong. Whereas today, you find me 100 Arabs and then say a few sentences without making a mistake with your fatha, kasras, and dhammas, none of them will succeed. which shows you the difference between how natural and the peak was the Arabic language in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Thus, the miracle of the Quran, basically showing them superiority as if never known to them, right?
But they
So-
only learn it, right? Like as a language.
So there was no studying. There was no such thing as learning grammar and stuff. That was not nobody ever studied these things. It was so natural to them. The whole environment was very much deeply, literarily fluent in the way they talked Arabic. There was no such thing as a common...
English grammar class, English.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like you have over here.
Yeah, they didn't have that, right? So, in the time of Ali ibn Abi Talib, in Kufa and Basra, these are the two main scholarly centers in Iraq, in Persia, the Muslims there started to develop it, particularly because of the Persian intellectuals that were always feeling like they would like to, because they've heard about it, but because of the whole Persian Arab ethnic divide from the great empire of Persia. Why would you want to learn this little slave, low-life language of the Arabs? It was appealing to them, right? But if they came out learning it before Islam came to them, or before the greatness of the Arab people came, which was through Islam, then they would have been looked at as you weirdo, As some people try to look at somebody that's learning, Chinese or something, right? Even though China is technically economically superior to us. So, at any rate, the Kufans and the Basrans disagreed. I take, if I'm not mistaken, the Kufan approach in which I believe that the verb is the basic reality of language. That creation is all moving. Even this desk is moving in many ways inside of it, physics-wise, right? Everything is constantly moving. Everything is active in creation, right? So the verb is the essence of the language. Now, I'm not necessarily deeply philosophically attached to that point, as I am when you look at any root word, كتب, شرب, جلس, فعل, قال, قام, ذهب, خرج, دخل, all of these things, it goes back to the very basic root, 3 letters, right? The Basran said no. Nouns, just calling it something, just knowing what that thing is the basic root of language. So they're going to tell you kitaba.
The root word.
Kitaba is the root of kataba. And then the problem is, what is this alif and this tam marbuta? What you see? That's why Hans Ver and everybody else and all the Arab historians of the, Lisan al-Arab, they took this approach. The Kufan, not because of the structure. It was so much more easier to deal with than this way.
So Basrans were the Persians?
They're all Persian. Kufan and Basra are both in Iraq. Iraq is always a Persian land until the Muslims came. Because nowadays they all speak Arabic there. But even if you go to Iran, by the way, there was an IT brother that was a Sunni Muslim who lived in one of those small Sunni villages in Iran. He's fluent in Arabic. He speaks Arabic like anybody else. And he was raised all his life in Iran. They teach Arabic and Persian to everyone from the beginning, fully and fluently, right? But purely from like the Fusha standpoint. Okay, so then Huruf. Huruf is many different things, right? Yeah.
If those who think that the noun is the basic thing, is any of it based on the fact that Allah taught Adam the names of things at the beginning?
Yeah, that's partly their argument. They're saying like that. They're saying Asma is how Adam first, but his learning that is a verb. He's learning Asma and teaching Asma and giving meaning to, and so it goes pretty.
Chicken or egg?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the way it is. God only knows. Okay, so these all have roots. All of these have roots. They're all based in the root system, and it's deeply structured and very easy to figure out once you know from the. Now, harf means an article. It's something that does not have a root, right? An article. So, for example, the famous article of asking somebody a yes or no question. هل أنت تقرأ القرآن؟ هل تقرأ القرآن؟ شيخ ناصر الدين. هل تقرأ القرآن؟ نعم. Yes, I read the Quran, right? هل أنت مسلمة؟ هل أنت مسلمة؟ نعم. Are you asking? I said anti. Anti means you. Learn your stuff, man.
Or
or ma or.
So for example, هل أنت أمريكي؟
نعم.
هل أنت من إفريقيا؟
لا.
لا. He's not from Africa. From Asia. Okay, so hel, that's a question. And there's many types of ways to ask questions. So then you have prepositional phrases. Fi, for example. In. It's just a prepositional phrase, right? There is...
Ana, anta are huruf, right?
No.
Ana, anta.
Oh, but yeah, they don't have a root. Is a good point. But they're asma, obviously.
Oh, there.
Yeah, pronoun. The brother found the exception to the rule. These pronouns do not have a.
Rather, huruf was anything that just kind of connects, or like a I, me, like
No.
not like a word, but just a general.
I, me are words. Those are I, me. So fi is in, prepositional phrase. So then you have, say, for example, la or kalla. Right? No. Na'am. Yes.
So the fee is plural?
Huh?
Fee? No.
Fi means in. It's a prepositional phrase. There's no plural of in. Right? These do not have plurals. These do not have roots. They do not have morphological changing. They're always the exact same. They never look differently. Inshallah, we'll go into more detail about this, but, you know.
What would be an example of a huruf?
We've been giving you examples. You want more?
No, because you wrote plural on top.
Yeah, no. These are all different huruf.
No, they're confused because they wrote huruf on top.
Yeah.
Or just like that.
Okay. This is a harf. These are huruf.
Okay.
Ding, the light is hit. This is a verb. These are two verbs, and so forth. Yeah.
So you don't have like af'alani or something like that, or two verbs.
Yeah, you say فعلاني. These are فعلاني.
Would al-an be?
الآن is a harf. Although technically, it's actually ظرف زمان. And to come into being الآن right now. So yeah, no, it's a ظرف. It's an adverb. Times أمام فوق تحت بعد قبل before after. You know, if you said like that, you know, حين إذن يومئذ. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Means it's giving time. It's like حينئذ يومئذ بعدئذ. You ever heard people say بعدين? They really mean بعدئذ, but they're saying بعدين. They took up إذن.
But when you say like Yoma Izin, what does that mean? That is the
That particular day, on that day is what that means. So Yoma,
is day.
a day, yeah. Yomaidin,
That-
on that day, and within that day, so it becomes an adverb. Okie doke. So that's just to remind you about this.